Well, howdy ho there, folks. How are we doing today? Hopefully you're doing absolutely peachy keen fantastic, full of the love of the Lord. Today I was going to talk a little bit about darkness, chaos, and what it does for us. You know, we frequently have this idea that, like, darkness is a bad thing, or we think that chaos in our lives is a bad thing. And, if we have too much chaos, yeah, it can be a really bad thing. But, a little bit of chaos can really influence us in a very good way. See, part of the reason I like chaos so much in Warhammer is that it is a representation more of, like, just complete freedom and complete, like, creativity in, like, a broader sense. Now, you could say that, well, you get enslaved to the will of these dark gods and all this stuff. But, I mean, I think that's a very kind of narrow way to look at it, where, like, chaos can be so much more. It is this realm of dreams and thought, right? And part of the reason I think that this is so much fun to talk about is that in Tantra, we learn that, we have to look inside ourselves and see what's really there. And what we're going to find is that a lot of us have a little bit of darkness inside of us. A lot of us have a little bit of selfishness. A lot of us have a little bit of anger and other things like that. But you see, what we should do, rather than judge ourselves for it, is understand it. Understand where it comes from and understand it as this raw potential energy. Chaos is raw energy. It is the stuff of the universe, the stuff of the immaterium. And we can use it in a wide variety of ways. I think that, since Warhammer is so influenced by, like, Western ideals, that sometimes we forget that sort of thing. But, me being a weirdo who loves Kali because she's so cool. Look at her. She's very cool. I come to this a little bit differently. I come to it and I think this is, a great... Actually, here, let's pause the music before it go on. We have this ability to take the energy that the darkness gives us, and we have this ability to turn it into different things. We have this ability, like, if we notice that we're angry, we can see why we're angry, and we can say, okay, so is that greed? Is it hatred? What is it? Is it insecurity? And we can see that about ourselves, and we can use that as a way to move forward, because we can say, okay, we can take the energy that's invested in this, and we can see what's really bothering us, and we can see how we need to turn it. Or, like a chaotic situation where, like, you lose your job. That's not something you want to have happen, but it now gives you free time to do different things. It gives you the ability to improve yourself, to really analyze your life and go, was I doing what I wanted at that job? Is this something I want to do going forward? Or is this an opportunity to change something about myself? Or, like, if you fail a test, it's like, okay, well, what does this teach me about myself? Does this teach me, like you could say that the darkness, quote unquote, if you want to put it that way, is like maybe you're lazy and you just didn't study hard enough, or you didn't try very hard. And you can say, okay, well, if I didn't try very hard, what does this tell me about what I'm doing? Things like that. That is the beauty of the potential of chaos, is that it can go in all of these different directions. It's that we need to choose how we interact with it and what we're going to do with it. Well, how we're going to use it going forward. Because if you, for instance, take the negative things about yourself, or the things that you view as negative, and you focus on them, and then you're just like, oh, everything's terrible, I'm not going to improve, I'm so bad. That's not helping you. But you look at the things that are bothering you and the things that are negative about yourself, and you go, okay, how can we turn this into a positive? Or how can we use this energy that we have, this kind of raw potential energy, to do something better, to do something, either spiritually better or, like materially better, whatever it is. You find that a lot of people are complaining about something at work. Okay, well, that can be a good time to take that negative energy of the complaining and use it to improve. Say, okay, like, well, we're complaining about this, so maybe that means that there's something we can do to fix this. Or we can take what is there and we can turn it into something new. That's the beauty of chaos, and that's the beauty of MaKali, is that everything is constantly shifting. Everything is changing and can be like formed into all these different kinds of shapes and things like that. We don't have to just take things as they are. I would say that the worst parts of chaos are when people just give in and don't think about it, and they just kind of go straight forward with whatever's going on. But if you take it and bend it to your will and bend your heart towards goodness, then chaos becomes much more usable. Now, of course, we could argue about the canonicity of that, and I would say that it's a little bit complicated. I understand if you don't necessarily agree, but I still think that there's a great beauty in this darkness, and that we all have a little bit of this darkness inside of ourselves, and that we shouldn't hate ourselves for it. We should look at it and see it for what it is. MaKali represents this glorious freedom, this kind of like abandon to all these things. Like the societal normal stuff around us, these are what make us comfortable, but sometimes we have to step outside of that. We have to embrace a little bit of chaos to really grow and flourish. You know, breaking out of our norms and being able to choose different things and being able to listen to different things, or being able to understand different things. Being able to look at someone else's perspective and really sincerely take it in and listen and try to understand, okay, how does this form in the grand tapestry of God's plan and God's goodness? How does this all form together? Because there's this huge tapestry. There's all kinds of different ways that people do things. Chaos doesn't have to be objectively evil. Chaos can be a glorious thing. I never really liked the Imperium to begin with, but part of the reason I tend to play Chaos Space Marines over Loyalists is because Chaos has this freedom. There's I just made a list that's called like the Cavalcade of Chaos, and I just brought a bunch of different units from all over the place because it was just, fun. And we can see the glory in diversity, and we can see that glory in chaos, both of this chaos concept within Warhammer, but also as chaos in a broader sense. We can see that the things that cause disorder actually have an order all in on their own, and that we are able to take these things and use them in different ways. It's part of the reason why, like, I have a demon prince that I basically made giving herself to chaos as like a thing of liberation, rather than like, oh, it's the darkest end. It's like, no, she was restricted and strained by her form, and when she gets to become a demon prince, then things become so much better for her. Not, I mean, Jimmy Dean. And that's the kind of thing that I think we need to embrace more, is that life is ever changing, and that there's chaos in everything, and there's a little bit of darkness in us and in the world, whether it's, our laziness, our greed, our hatred, or delusion. We need to look at those things and figure out how we can make them better. For instance, if we have greed, rather than being greedy for material things, we can be greedy for the love of God. We can be greedy for, doing the best things we can. We can say, no, I want to do the most good. I want to embrace God the most. I want that love. Or, like if we're mad, we can, turn that anger into something that is like a positive force, in the sense that we can use it as motivation to get us going and doing things, whether it's, something as simple as a hobby project or some true deep inner transformation. Both of these things can come from, this kind of mundane or even negative feeling of chaos or anger and things like that. We can use these things around us to make ourselves feel better, to make ourselves do more. We can use this stuff and embrace all of it. That's the beauty of Tantra, is that Tantra embraces everything. And I want to embrace everything. I want to embrace all of the different things that make humans human, that make us, weird cat creatures. We need to understand that glory and then go forward with it. And for all the negativity that we have surrounding us, we can take that and turn it into something more positive. We do not have to simply take it as it is. Know that the world is malleable and that Ma has given us all these different tools, whether it's our minds, our spirit, our hands, our different skill sets, all these different things that we can use to create better and better visions of the future and better versions of the future. Not I mean, Jimmy Dean? I don't know. I know that was kind of a long cat rant about that, but I just wanted to share that. I was thinking about that a lot lately. And yeah. Anyway, remember to embrace a little bit of chaos. Remember to take any bad situation you get into and bring the best out of it, okay? Remember that God loves you, and remember that you can share that love with others. And remember that I love you, and God loves you, and bye-bye, I love you, bye. Bye-bye, I love you, bye.